Hello, this is Octavian Graves with Strange Dominions. This is going to be a bit of a different episode than you're used to. It's just going to be me today. No guest, no co-host. It's just going to be a solo episode. So I don't know how long it's going to be. I doubt it's going to be an hour. But I'm going to do these more often because I'm not always going to have guests. I actually kind of want to move away from always interviewing authors. I would like to have more listeners on telling their stories. You know, I've been saying this since the very beginning of the show. We've gotten a few, but not as many as I would like. I would like them to make up the bulk of what we do here on Strange Dominions. And I kind of wanted to give you guys an update because I know I was going really, really consistent from the beginning of the show up until about the spring of 2023. And then I kind of just disappeared and came back sporadically. And I didn't like that happened. There was a lot of things that happened, a lot of very personal things. Obviously, I moved from Maryland to Pennsylvania, so that was a big one. That took up a lot of time, and getting everything set up for that was strenuous. But things have calmed down significantly, where I feel like I can start doing weekly shows again and really doing them. I want to do more than just interviewing authors. I love interviewing authors. I love talking about books with people and things like that, but I would like to move away from that. What I'd like to do now is talk a little bit about my experiences as a magician. I know I've probably talked about them on this show and other people's shows, but I don't think I've dedicated a lot of time to them. And I feel like maybe that would be interesting to you guys. So that's what we're going to do. Back in autumn of 2022, I was feeling a little bit of a disconnection between me and Hecate. And a friend of mine had suggested that I should do a ritual about that to try and make the connection a more visceral one so that way I could feel it better. So I gathered up my materials. I went out to the three-way crossroads where I do a lot of the work that I used to do when I lived in Maryland. I went out to the woods and I did the ritual, and I asked for a stronger connection, a more visceral connection. And not even a minute after I asked that, I heard something running at me from behind. So I, turned around, and I was kind of freaking out because I didn't know this is a remote area. Nothing should be running at me. And it was a deer. It was a massive buck. It came about less than 5 feet away from my face and then veered off into the forest. And I definitely take that as an epiphany because of, in her Orphic Hymn, it says delighting in deer. And so that is a really interesting experience that I had. Obviously, it doesn't sound that interesting, but it was. And that's that. I did a little operation. It's not really an operation. Basically what I did was I took the Hecate incense that is described in Liber Chthoniya, which is Jeff Cullen's book, and I decided to make that. But I consecrated each and every item that's part of that incense using a prayer that was given to me by another student in the Hail Hecate, or the Sorcerer of Hecate class. And I did that. Each ingredient was consecrated each night for 9 days, up until the new moon. And that is when I mixed it and I burned it. And when I burned it, something really interesting happened. I got this really strong sense of physical euphoria. I wasn't high. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't under any kind of substance. But the second it started burning and I could smell it, I just felt so good, physically. It was really powerful. And it was kind of like a pressure throughout my whole body. And I'm hearing footsteps behind me. I'm in the room alone. I'm in the house alone. And I feel like there's someone else in the room with me. Now, obviously, I kind of have a rule, and this goes back to the myth of Hecate, that you're not supposed to look at her. So I don't turn around, and I don't turn around for a lot of experiences that I have. I don't want to see it. That's not true. I do want to see it, but I know I'm not supposed to. So I do my best to not do that. And it seems to work, I think. It seems to have some kind of effect. So, yeah, I did this incense. It worked really well, and I felt a very strong presence in the room. I can't say it's Hecate. It could have been another spirit. I know my house is haunted, but I'm taking that for what it is. So the next little event was I needed to do a new moon ritual for Hecate, and I needed to do it at a three-way crossroads at night in the woods. This was really important to me. So what I did was I went to this three-way crossroads. It is like one singular path that breaks off into two. It's like a T form. Does constitute as the three-way crossroads. So Ian and I went to this place and we did the whole ritual. And while we were doing it, we were hearing really heavy movement, like footsteps, strange sounds in the brush, heavy movement. So as I was saying, we were in the brush, we were doing the ritual. The only way I could describe it is it was feeling very aggressive. It felt like there were things that did not want us there and they were making their presence known to get us to leave. I had made and things did calm down toward the end. I felt like there was a shift in tone and feeling by the time we were finished. That was really interesting to have such a strong response from what I believe to be otherworldly beings in the woods to my ritual. So that's what's kind of going on with me. What I'm planning on doing, and I've been talking about this since I started the show basically, is I want to do an evocation to one of the Olympic spirits, and I want to do it as traditional as possible. I have all of the tools and the materials. I need to make a bigger circle. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. This has been Octavian Graves, and I'll see you again on the Strange Dominions.